Hello, today is July 6th, 2026, and how are you doing today? If you've been here before, then welcome back. If it's your first time, thank you for clicking, and to either party, thank you for being here today. So we usually start off talking about some astrology, and one of the big things that's happening this week is the Neptune Retrograde, which begins tomorrow. And in case you don't know, retrograde means that the planet looks like it's spinning in reverse from our perspective on Earth. What this means astrologically is that it's a really good time to reevaluate, revisit. There could be some things from the past that come up, and this is usually, believe it or not, the common take on a retrograde, especially if you're not really, really into astrology. It's, can sound like scariness to that might, what's going to happen during retrograde? It kind of has a bad rap. So it actually can be quite enlightening, and retrogrades tend to be something that, brings something to the forefront that hasn't been, really at your forefront, I guess, maybe. And even if it has been at your forefront, it'll usually bring something new, some kind of revelation, I think, is what retrogrades usually tend to teach us. So these readings are for, people who are looking to kind of work with the astrology, and we kind of had a recurring theme this last week, about it feels like it's like actually Monday, but it feels like, I don't know why, it feels like the end of the week for some reason. I don't know why. Anyways, we've been talking about, the last couple of readings have really had to do a lot with one's purpose, and that might be something that's on your mind today. It's definitely been on my mind a lot lately, so I'm not gonna lie, the last several readings have been really relatable to me as well. But it's been kind of fun to talk through things that might be affecting others in similar ways. So we talked a lot about dreams, and not necessarily dreams that you have when you're asleep, but our dreams, our waking dreams, right? Like the goals we have in life. We did talk a lot about career, because we started off with a full moon in Capricorn just on the, June 30th, I think. So yeah, it's actually been 7 days since then. And so I think we're kind of circling back to that. And you maybe can already see we have the Tarot of Dreams deck that I'll be using today. This is a deck by Ciro Marchetti. I've never used this deck before, so this is my first time reading with it. I did spend a little time with it prior to the reading, but I haven't used it for reading. So very excited to utilize this. And let's see what we're supposed to talk about today with Neptune. Neptune is the modern planet ruler of Pisces, and really has to deal with themes of the dream, and more in the vein of the, dreams we have when we're asleep, the messages that we can receive through them. At this time, since Neptune is going into retrograde, sometimes things, with Neptune can be a little unclear because of the dream nature of it. And so Neptune is known as a little bit of an illusory planet of illusion might be a good way to put it. And so when retrograde happens, the exciting thing here is that, you know, illusions can be really broken. And this morning I was thinking about reading, and I was thinking about how the veil becoming thinner, or the veil lifting from our eyes, scales lifting from our eyes, or however, whatever imagery here resonates and makes sense, because the last reading was a little bit of a struggling energy. And so I'm hoping that Tarot of Dreams here can give us a little more about that clarity that we're looking for, and that we're looking really, for the next 6 months with Neptune in retrograde. It's kind of an exciting, period. And I guess one more thing, if you don't know, is that Neptune retrograde happens like this all the time. It's like every 6 months, I'm pretty sure. If I could have that wrong, but half the year is the standard time that Neptune spends in retrograde. So this kind of checks out, but this is just a good energy to try to work with, I think, when maybe there's been some confusions. So let's see what comes out here. What dreams are we working with? What's going to come out as important to our viewer today? Oh, anything else here? Importance. Oh, okay. We'll just take a look at this one. Okay, so one thing I did forget to mention is that this deck has some nudity, and we are going to actually go ahead and just cover up anything that might be questionable. I'm not 100% sure if some of this would be considered flaggable or not, but I'm just not going to risk it, because I haven't never used this deck and I don't want to risk it. But I'll show what I can. This is the 10 of Wands. This person is nude, but it doesn't show anything, but this depicts a man on his elbows and knees, and he's bowed down. So that's what you can't see on the card. But the 10 of Wands energy has to do with a burden. And if this isn't a sequel to the last reading and you're here for the first time, that's amazing, and thank you again for being here. But it kind of feels like it is a little bit of a sequel to the last reading, because was a lot of the energy that was coming out really strong. Is this burden, time to put down a burden, is what, I'm hearing with this card. You might still be carrying that burden. And since this is regarding your dreams today, this is whatever maybe is blocking you in the physical world. This could be showing up in your physical world, but it could actually stem from the, internal world. And we've talked a lot about going inward to really figure out what those things might be. But 10 of Wands, it does show someone who's kind of at their breaking point. And if you don't put something down, carrying all of that is going to end up being it's going to be a dropping of everything that you're carrying. So it does have the energy warning against that. I think, interesting. Well, this is the card I used to cover it up. I don't know if I was really meant to take this one, but it's King of Swords also. I didn't even look. I just pulled it and covered this card. But King of Swords is logical, and maybe your logical mind is your block. Maybe you could be operating out of too much logic right now, especially if your dreams are more metaphysical or spiritual. Sometimes the logical mind can't really make sense of it. So there could be an energy of, again, we talk a lot about the intuition and listening to the intuition here. That could be helpful, but we'll confirm it. 10 of Wands for sure, burden here. So what else? we got Queen of Wands also. So Queen of Wands. We have of course we do have, I can't remember if these are bearded dragons. Bearded dragons, that could be significant to you. But I'm trying to remember, I don't think there's any bearded dragons on the card. I think it's, I think the other card is is it a salamander? I'm pretty sure bearded dragons aren't on it. But I really like bearded dragons, and they are very cool. The Queen of Wands is, this is a very interesting energy. So this is someone who's very fiery, very passionate. You can tell by the red color. But we also have someone who's maybe in a battle with an emotion here. Water and fire energies here. So the Queen of Wands, the challenge is, I think like a lot of the wands, is the impulsion. But there is a righteousness with the Queen of Wands, I think. A fervor, it's a conviction, a belief. And so that this is I'm going to take this as good, because there is a conviction here. Maybe the impulsivity and maybe the emotion is what, can get a little twisted up. But if if your belief system is calling you and you have, a conviction here, then that's what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about, what is your purpose and what is your dream? And that's what this whole reading is about. This is Pisces in the corner, the symbol of Pisces. I'm pretty sure it's in the top right corner. It's a little bit hard to tell. She does also look like she's on a checkerboard in the background. And I always do this where it's a little too dark. So I'm going to figure that out one day. Get some, I wonder if this would be helpful if this gets turned on. Oh, it's not plugged in. Well, never mind. Okay, so far, 10 of Wands, Queen of Wands. What else? These are really fun to shuffle. Oh, my ring just fell off. Okay. Super fun to shuffle. All right, first, 7 of Swords and an Ace of Wands. A lot of passion. A lot, maybe, I'm excited for you if you're feeling this call. I'm super excited for you. Maybe you're feeling, if you were here on the last reading, maybe you're feeling in a different energy today. That would be amazing to know. But first of all, we do have the 7 of Swords. So I'm going to have to be careful with this one. I was like, well, was it nude? No, he's wearing clothes. I kind of forgot that I still have to worry about that. So 7 of Swords is, I always look at this, I'm going to be honest, I always look at this as an ego card. And I know that there's this kind of like, there is a little bit of a trickster energy here, but sometimes, and the ego is kind of a complicated subject, but maybe you've kind of been looking into it. If you haven't, or if you don't know a lot about it, the ego is pretty much our human way of keeping us safe, protecting us. A lot of the times the things that we pick up that turn into the shadows that we've also talked about a couple of videos, it can show up as the ego as well, or sometimes the shadow side of is the ego, or the shadows are manifesting from the ego. Like there's a million ways you can kind of look at it. But the ego typically is an energy that kind of keeps us from ascension and expanding and, awakening consciousness, right? The ego wants to protect our fragile human experience, but the soul and the consciousness is, a lot of the times it's kind of broken open. The mold is kind of broken open by very visceral, intense, sometimes painful experiences. And so that's where the ego can sometimes develop. And where I'm going with this is the ego is something we have to face. You might have heard the term the ego death. Having an ego death is a lot of the times where awakening can begin, really truly begin, because I was a spiritual person, but I mean, and I'm not saying nothing bad ever happened to me, like growing up, or that I never had trauma, but I think I was a spiritual person, but I didn't have an ego death until like recently. And, that's the moment where, like, although I was practicing on and off, it wasn't really until having that experience that was like, a true awakening moment. And when you're confronting ego, a lot of the times it looks like stealing away. And this card, it's clear that he's stealing. Well, it seems clear to me. He's stealing swords. There's this, it's a very protective energy. There's a mental energy here, a logical energy, of course. But it's because a lot of the times when the ego is in play, we don't want to face ourselves, our truths. And this is a great time working with this Neptune retrograde, coming up. We just passed the summer solstice not that long ago, and another thing that's coming up is August 8th. There's, the Lionsgate activation. So it's a really exciting time, but it is a time to, I think, when in preparation for this, be aware, where is the ego still taking the lead? What's, during this time, we want to quiet the ego. We want to, move through the limiting beliefs that the ego feeds us. And it would be more comfortable in situations like this to just steal away and, avoid. But what we need to do during this time is, accept those Ace of Wands that are coming towards us. And this is definitely, this is inspiration. This card came out before. This is truly divine led inspiration, and your calling is here. The bearded dragon again, and I'm pretty sure that's what this is. And I don't know what the what the symbolism is for this animal. I do know that lizards do typically represent something a little unexpected, something happening that's a little bit of a shift in, your routine, but I don't know specifically if the bearded dragon has any additional context that we can add. We do have a volcano here in the background, so something erupting, definitely something coming to the surface. Cracks happening beneath your ground, right? Lava boiling over, smoke billowing in the distance, and these clouds that are back here are definitely smoke. That's definitely how much smoke is in the air. So this is an important time to maybe breathe while you're feeling all this energy, because it could be very potent for you, which again can be extremely exciting. Just remember, don't let the ego drive the vehicle. Let your higher self lead the way here. A lot of wands. Wow. Yay, that's really exciting. Super exciting. Okay, what else? Okay, these cards are so... Oh, my ring again. Ah! Oh my gosh, okay. I'm taking a lot of cards for you right now. I just want you to know, like, so many. 5 just fell out. Okay, and they're on the ground. Oh, wow. Okay. This one I'm gonna push these over a little bit, and I'm actually gonna, I'm pretty sure you can't see it from way over there. We have a lot going on here. All right. So 6 of coins in reverse. Reciprocity, balance here, equal give and take. 2 of cups in reverse as well. We have the 9 of wands here. And then we have, I was thinking about this card, and this is the bonus card in this deck, and I was thinking about this card before getting started, and I didn't say anything, but I was kind of talking about, I forget exactly what point, but we were talking about the mission, is what I just was about to call it. So maybe you've heard that, maybe you've heard it called that, the life's purpose, your life's path, and the ascension message, the ego blocking the ascension. And that's when I was thinking about this card, and I'm going to talk about it. And then and then we also have strength. So five just really popped out there. So three out of the 5 are coming out in reverse, but I'm going to talk about this. So, first of all, 6 of coins, and I'll show it to you again. We do have the Libra symbol on the bottom of this card, which is, I know this is an earth suit, but I do think of this card, and I do think of Libra because of the scales. So obviously it's, you know, traditionally not seen that way, but that is how I've always looked at it. And it is about the balance of relationships, energies. This is, you know, a lot of times people look at this as a kind of a philanthropy. You know, if you're in a position where you can give back, then, you know, you can feel free to do that, right? You might be in that energy, but I'm thinking that maybe this is, I kind of just had 2 different thoughts about this card. And on one hand, an energy where maybe you need to receive versus giving right now. That could be an energy that you aren't used to. You could be used to giving a lot, and maybe you need to receive the gifts of the universe. That could be part of, maybe your ego feels like you need to work to earn, and all of those things that we're told in the society we live in. Maybe it's time to learn to receive, you know, blessings. But the other thing that I was thinking about was, and going back to philanthropy, where it might not be about actual coins and, you know, giving your money away. I'm definitely, you know, like I said, if you're in a position and you feel called, there's nothing wrong with that, but that's definitely not what I'm saying to do. I think this could be an energy of giving back spiritually. And so one way or the other, this is about balance of those 2 things. When you give, you receive, right? And if you're imbalanced in one of those areas right now, then this card is about rebalancing that. And balance has been a big theme in these readings. So I'm not surprised that this is in reverse, because we talked a lot about balance before and that being a big focus. And so that's something that's still coming up. Being willing to give and to receive in equal parts. Two of Cups, right? Kind of this similar. The Cups, it is about an emotional connection. This is definitely more than a surface level connection, but there's certainly an energy of equality here as well. And, when this card comes out, I do think of, we do have swans, and it's, of course, just like on the traditional card, there's the mirror of the two, characters, right? So there is some, what I'm hearing here is, well, this is this is something that has to do with the law of attraction. We were talking about the law of attraction in another video. When you are trying to manifest something, a lot of the times the key, if the manifestation isn't coming quite right, then a lot of the times the key is to embody that energy yourself. What you put out is the same as what you get. So this is like a follow-up to this. I think all of these are all together, actually, because the way they came out. When you balance this energy in yourself, you will attract the same. What you're already putting out, by the way, is also going to be what you attract. So attract higher purpose here, higher self, right? Like divine calling, divine path. Those are the things when you're embodying this energy, the upright version of this energy, you will have this I'm sorry, I'm like going back to reciprocity still, but Two of Cups is filling each other's cups. Maybe you're looking for someone. This card is I think kind of it looks very romantic, doesn't it? I mean, it does, the swans, like, it reminds me of like being at, like, well, I don't know if they still have this kind of stuff, but Tunnel of Love, and then it was like a boat that looked like a swan boat. Anyways, mermaids, we have mermaids on the cups as well. It does look romantic. If this is about, a connection, maybe you're looking for a connection. Maybe you're looking for love to support this calling that you're trying to answer, right? But don't get too hung up on that if that's the case. Again, when you embody it, you'll bring in the right person. If that's what you're looking for, and that could be, and there's nothing wrong with that if you are. Everybody wants. A lot of people are looking for that. That's why love readings are so super popular. Sorry, there's very little room for me to move my hand. So if you're trying to call that in right now, I would advise, focus on self, and the right person will come in. Balance your own energies right now, and, you know, look on the bright side of life, and really that energy that you put out there, it will come back to you. It really will. So we do have Nine of Wands, and Nine of Wands does talk about a defensive position. You've got scrapes from this time that you've spent. Whatever you've been working on, and maybe this does have to do with something that you're no longer feeling invested in, or you could be still feeling very invested and you still don't want to give it up yet. There's definitely a lot of pain from the card. I mean, like I said, there's the wounded aspect to, you know, he even has the cuts on his arms. He might be a little bruised. It's kind of hard to tell with the shadows, but the helmet is off, so there's definitely, you know, there's not currently a battle happening. That's why the helmet is off. And so it's really up to you to decide if you're still going to keep fighting this battle, holding this line, whatever it may be. And it might be something that needs you to let it go, but if it is something that still needs your attention, then remember that your Queen of Wands energy and your conviction. Because if it's if it's something that still does serve you, and even if it could be you taking these steps wherever you are on your journey. Maybe you're farther along. Maybe this isn't new to you. Maybe you've already been living this call, heeding the call, and you find yourself, you know it's important, but it's okay. Downtime, you can take some downtime. You can put the helmet back on in a little bit. You know, take a minute, doctor the wounds, take care of yourself. I was hearing earlier this morning, I was hearing cleansing and wanting to talk about cleansing practices and cleansing with the elements. If you haven't been doing that, you might want to start. Remember to take care of yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't pour from an empty cup. And we'll confirm. Before we confirm, we'll talk about these two. I feel like these two need to be talked about together, considering the tree of life, and what this is about. And this is about ascension. And this came out in reversed, so this does kind of make me think that you're still kind of on your way. Maybe you're just getting started. But here's the funny thing, is even if you've been doing it, there are always those moments where we feel like we're back at the bottom. And reminder, this is a never-ending journey. This is a lifetime. And it's every day we have to come into it with the energy that we have. And that's why it is important to take care of yourself, cleansing, self-care, whatever that looks like to you, and get your energy back, because ascension is a lifelong journey. And the tree of life, it is, and I'm going to go ahead and just admit that I don't know a lot about Kabbalah, but this is a Kabbalistic this is the path. This is essentially the divine path. The other way I've read it being described is the Fool's Journey in reverse, and it's about literally the ascension from the mortal, the physical world, to spirituality, and you know, your divine consciousness, you know, true. I really hope I'm not saying this wrong, and so I'm really sorry if I am. Please don't come for me, but if I am, honestly, like, I'll take the education also if I don't know a lot about this. And I'm not going to speak anymore after this, but about this particular card, because I don't want to say it wrong. But it is about, you know, really integrating the divine self, higher self, into your everyday life. And so if you're wherever you are on this journey, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10, wherever you are on this journey, and it is interesting how it came out like this, right? It's kind of like maybe you are kind of at the, or some of you may be here, and some of you may be here, some of you may be here. I wouldn't really even know where I'm at, but what I do know is, and you may not either, and that's fine, but what I do know is it's continuous. And you're gonna have to embody strength. You're gonna have to come to terms with this being the path. And especially if you're down here, newer to it, and there's, again, no shame, there's nothing wrong with that. If you're newer to it, and you feel like some days is like, oh my gosh, I'm in touch with the higher self and I know what I'm doing, and then other days are like exhausting, yeah, I get that for sure. You know, like, we live in the physical world. We're gonna take a physical toll. It does happen. It happens to all of us. Strength. We do have tiger energy here. Taming the inner wild. Maybe unleashing your wild. It's kind of what it looks more like here. Usually strength is a lot about taming it. A gentle strength. This looks like working with it to me. This looks like using it. This looks a lot like the wands energy that we have. Oh, here they are. What's on the ground with the cards? I don't know why I thought they would be down there. Okay. Clarify 10 of Wands. Oh, that one jumped, but... Oh, okay. Yeah. Five of coins for your 10 of Wands energy. So this is still lack mentality. This is still feeling... Maybe you feel abandoned. Maybe there are people who you're having to separate yourself from. And you're maybe you haven't found the people on the inside of this building yet who are ready to welcome you in. Community comes up a lot here in these readings too. So, you know, the burden, I can't show the card. We can show it like this. The burden of the 10 of Wands is maybe the energy of feeling like you have to do this all alone. Feeling like it doesn't get better. Mental illness. I'm sorry. I just heard that. Depression. I'm sorry if you go through that because, yeah, same here. So I definitely understand that one. We're gonna get, I'm excited, but to clarify the rest, because I know that's really tough energy, especially, it's like when you feel like you're really close to having a way out, and that's exactly what this is about. It's so close. You can see it, you know, it's right there. Just turn around and look and come out of the cold. And I know sometimes it's like, what? I'm looking everywhere and I still can't tell and see it. And That's why it's really important to go inward. Sometimes when we're looking is more likely to evade our logic. King of Swords kind of came out. We were talking about King of Swords and the logical mind. You have to turn off your logical mind. I told the story about the stick in my eye, the twig in my eye. You have to turn off the logical sight, the physical sight sometimes, and go inward. Okay, Queen of Wands. Okay. For Queen of Wands, oh, Page of Wands. Neat. Reversed, we do have maybe you need to get back in touch. We talked about the inner child before. Back to creativity, back to a sense of wonderment. And there are 4 wands here too. Interesting. He looks a little mischievous for Page of Wands. Yeah, I think this has to do with your inner child, getting back in touch with your creativity to fuel this passion, this conviction that you have. It may even just be tied to that. Maybe for some reason you're reluctant to go out and to like put yourself out on a limb in a way is what I was hearing. And maybe you're afraid to be embarrassed. Maybe being childish, makes you think of being immature. But it's okay to have fun. And if there's something, that can help you break out of this, it's okay to go for that, It's okay to relax a little and enjoy your life. Even if you are called, even if you do have of course you have a higher purpose. Of course you do. Everyone does. Even if you're really seeking after that, it's okay to relax a little. This is speaking to me too right now. I feel like I need to hear this too. So if don't feel attacked, because I'm telling myself. I'm going to go ahead and clarify Ace of Wands. Actually, hold on. Oh, what happened there? Did something flip? No. I thought something flipped. I'm going to get one more here, because I want to clarify both of those cards. Ace of Wands and 7 of Swords. Yep. Anything else on that? Yep. Oh, okay. Oh, wow. They're really jumping. They're really jumping. Ah, that one jumped too. I don't know if that was on the bottom or the top. Okay. Sheesh. Oh, yes. Oh, I'm very excited about this. Okay. So when I was clarifying Ace of Wands, we got the moon. You and this moon, man. It's not just you. And you could just be watching this for the first time and being like, what? Don't attack me. Yeah, the moon for Ace of Wands. So for your inspiration, for your divine inspiration, go inward. Shadow work. Look at this cool portal on this moon card. Does that kind of look like a Stargate? I don't know. I've never watched Stargate. I've only ever seen stills of it. So I feel like I know what it looks like, but I don't know anything about the show. So maybe that's something that resonates for you. Stargate. I don't know. It's about going to other worlds, I think. Or planets or something like that. And bats. Bats could be significant to you. I love bats. They're so cool. So bats are about transformation. I actually do know that. I know the symbolism of this guy. So yeah, transformation. It definitely does have to do with, when you face your fears. Batman, right? You know, you have to become the thing you fear, so that way you're not afraid of it anymore. And that's so what shadow work is. I think when that hit me finally, and I remember that I was really scared of that too. So don't feel bad if you have fear over that. It's very normal, but it's scary. It's like, whoa, that's me. Is that me? But don't be scared and even if you are, face it. That's what happens when you're brave. Doesn't mean there's no fear. It's just standing up in the face of it. And of course we have the wolf and the dog, and there's the balance of the inner self, the outer self, the wild self versus the domesticated self, your subconscious versus your conscious. These things should never be verses, in my opinion. So integration, marriage of these two, right? Like, this is a powerful message that your inspiration, maybe you already know this, maybe you're already doing this, but your inspiration is directly linked to that. You probably already know that. I feel like you do. Something's telling me you do. We also had, to clarify, 7 of Swords, the sneaking away. We had, wow. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I didn't even look at these yet. So 3 of Swords. She's wearing rings. A lot of these characters have jewelry on, but the rings are standing out to me here for some reason. Crescent moon also. So, and this too, throat chakra. There's pain, there's heartbreak, right? That's why ego is in play, to protect us from what we assume will hurt us. And if you've been hurt, even if you've been hurt by the spiritual journey, and you may have been, it might make you fear going deeper. But when you do go on journey because of divine inspiration, you will be protected. We have the Page of Coins, and this is oh my gosh, I'm trying to make sure I say this correctly to you. But this is something that's, yeah, it's new and it's fresh. It's new and it's fresh, but it is solid. It's actually pretty lush. It was what it looks like to me. You got a really, neat place in the background here. Some lush trees and grass, a field, nice cool field. So, again, I think we have this is, I almost want to confirm this again, but I think we're going to see what the message is on the last one, but, don't fear this so much. Don't let this hold you back. And it's not to invalidate you. You've got, an experience, just like we all have got. And that's 100%. It makes sense why you would want, maybe you don't want to anymore. Maybe you don't want to rely on ego, but it's why your ego, it is there. We all have that. So don't be ashamed of it either, right? That message is a lot. Don't be afraid. Don't be ashamed. Spirit's going to catch you. I know. I'm just telling you. And then in the end here, Knight of Cups did come out as well. And Knight of Cups, it is, this is someone who's getting in touch with the emotions. This is someone who might still kind of struggle. Again, you know, similar to this, even the Queen of Wands, actually same elements, water and fire, right? You've got to watch the impulsivity of the emotions that can come out during this time. You might be very triggered because of the ego, okay? And that's normal. That's normal, but just remember to let the higher self drive the seat and not the ego. So that kind of just came out as a little bit of a bonus, I feel like, for that. Okay, we're going to clarify this large stack. Clarify the Tree of Life stack. Oh my goodness. Sorry, I'm not trying to laugh. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm like, oh my god, that's a lot of cards. Okay. Sheesh. But sometimes it literally just gives me one card. And then sometimes it gives me like 7 cards. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah. Okay. Alright. Wow. Alright. So, you have... I'm gonna rattle them all off, actually. I'm gonna do it that way, because there's a lot. Alright. 9 of Cups. Remember what I can and can't show. Knight of Swords. Ace of Coins. Queen of Swords. Emperor. Knight of Coins. X of Coins. Why did I say that? 9 of Coins. So a lot of coin energy here. Yeah, I don't know. You've got everything, I think, so far. Yeah, you have all the elements. Okay. You know, with the Emperor, I'm going to wait to talk about that. I'm just going to wait to talk about that. So, and see if this makes sense as I read through. This is clarifying your Tree of Life Ascension. So, starting off, you do have the 9 of Cups. This is very interesting to me because you also have the 5 of Coins. And 9 of Cups is about satisfaction, right? So you have satisfaction coming out. You have Knight of Swords in reversed coming out. So you are, maybe you're a fast mover. Maybe you're working on that. Maybe you really like to move quickly. And maybe you are working on introspection and that might be difficult for you. Ace of Coins is it's a blessing, a tangible blessing, mind you. You know, energetic blessing, right? Like in reverse though. Maybe you're still feeling blocked from that, but then yeah, you've got Queen of Swords where you look defensive here. Emperor. So you're trying to build something. Knight of Coins, moving slowly, but in reverse. These energies are so, like, are you working on balance? Okay, you're doing good. You're doing really good. And then lastly, 9 of Coins, and this is your, you know, gratification. This is your time to shine, your time to spend, you know, time with the creatures that you love, your hobbies, doing your hobbies, growing your flowers here, right? This is a message of peace. We have white doves on this card. This is a message of peace for you. And this is clarifying your Tree of Life journey, which was already a lot of cards. And so I want to kind of go through it in a little bit more detail. 5555 on the clock right now. This feels, to me, this feels like your end goal. And I will tell you that I wasn't sure if I should read it from here to here or from here to here. But you've kind of got the same outcome either way. Your end goal to be emotionally fulfilled, and you're really, you know, if you're still struggling with this mindset, this is a great energy to work with. And this goes back to the manifestations and the law of attraction. So if you're focused on what you don't have, you're always gonna be feeling the lack, right? But if you focus on what you do have, this, it just clicked. This is where you get all your time back and all your peace. But focus on what you already have. And it looks like, I don't think that's his hand, but it does kind of look like he's handing the cornucopia. The way it's like positioned, it's like he's like handing it to you. What else was handing us something? This guy. This guy was handing you something too. Equal give and take. So to embody this energy now is crucial. Even if you're not there yet. And I'm kind of, you know, I hope you are. But I feel like maybe you're not there yet. You might be really close. Maybe you feel it sometimes and sometimes not others. But this is really crucial to getting to here, which is where you really want to be. And oh my god, it's so funny because yeah, and then these two, it's almost like talking about them, like you talk about these two together, right? And then I guess I talk about, this is wild, talk about these two together. So this is your two. Knight of Swords is the fastest moving. Knight of Coins is the slowest moving. And I gotta say, I was joking, but honestly, like, if you're, good on you for trying to balance this. Because this is tough. Time isn't real. I heard that today from another reader, and it's so true, and it's such a struggle. Like, why did we create the concept of time? I don't understand it. Even, like, I introduced the video, like, today is today's date, and, here's the astrology, and this is what happened, or this is what is happening, and when it's going to happen. And, in reality, none of that matters. In reality, everything happens the way it's supposed to. And if you're really working on this energy, like, honestly, I just want to, like, applaud you, because it's not easy energy to try to balance. Like, how slow is too slow? How fast is too fast? That's what's, when you go on a journey like this, it will take some time, ironically, about time, right? But if you give yourself some time, you will settle into that energy. And again, that's a daily thing. Sometimes I still feel like I want to rush. And then sometimes I feel like I don't want to do anything, but it's okay to take it slow some days. Listen to your body. There might be a time where you feel like, wow, this is the moment and I've got to go for it. Just do it from a place of not ego. Do it from a place where the higher self is driving in the driver's seat, right? And then the timing aspect won't matter if the higher self is the one doing the driving. And you don't have to worry about the timing at all if you let them drive. If you let the higher self drive. Okay. So, I wasn't sure how to talk about the Emperor. I honestly was not sure how to talk about the Emperor. But I'm reading them like this actually is helping me. Ace of Coins with the Emperor. This is your divine blessing that for some reason maybe you're not ready to accept because of you're still trying to get into this energy. And receiving is important, especially from the universe. Like, let the universe bestow upon you the gifts. Especially if you're working on manifestations and you're really embodying this energy, right? You're gonna have to learn to receive it. It needs a place to land, right? Make space for it in your body, in your spirit, literally. Emperor, to me, right now, feels like you're trying to build it on your own. There's stability in the Emperor, right? And if you're working with the universe and accepting the building materials coming in, you can build something amazing. You can build something that no one else would even understand what even is going on here. Is this like underwater? Is this in space? Like, I don't know. There are doves on this card as well, it looks like. Yeah, these are doves. It's kind of hard for you to see, but those are doves right here. So peace. This is about peace also, right? Remember, this is what you're working towards. But you have to accept what the universe wants to give you. In order to build this amazing kingdom. And this was the one in the center of it all. So, Queen of Swords does have a balance of logic and emotion. We do have Libra again here. Are you a freaking Libra? I don't know. Maybe you are. Shoot. And I know these all have a zodiac sign attached to them, but I was paying attention to the little image at the bottom. So, you know, if you're technically Scorpio's on here too, and so is Virgo, so maybe those two also could be. They're kind of harder to see. This one's definitely more prominent. Working with logic is perfectly fine. It's not, you don't necessarily need to abandon logic on this journey, but just a word of caution again, you know, intuition is part of this card as well. Queen of Swords has both the water and the air element. So intuition along with logic aligned, mental and spiritual, right? I see protective energy here, which is good. You should protect your energy, especially you could be wanting to guard against the outside external influences. That could be something you're guarding against. And maybe even you're a little guarded from this experience, though. Don't block your blessings. Don't block your blessings. And I just am going back to this one. You know, don't block your blessings. This is a great energy, but don't get hung up on the defense, right? What was the defense card? Don't get hung up on that. What I'm going to do one more card for you, and this is not going to be tarot. This is going to be the oracle card. Well, it's kind of oracles. They're not really oracles. They're kind of like affirmations. And the first one that's kind of slid out of my hand, it's I am the loving energy of the universe. I am the loving energy of the universe. So that's you. Embody love. That's what a lot of this deck is about, is, you know, kind of inward love. The universe has your back is the name of this deck. This is by Gabrielle Bernstein, and by Michaela Ezra. I can barely see it from here. Those two artists, collaborators here for this deck. So I am the loving energy of the universe. Remember that, as above, so below. That's why I like to talk about astrology at the beginning of these. And I kind of forgot to talk about Neptune, but I like to talk about that. Working with the energy of the macrocosm to bring it into the microcosm. And that's, if you believe in as above, so below, you know, you are the universe. And the love that you give, you will receive. The energy of the universe is in you, and the universe is love. The universe is about love. So, see if you can, well, let's see if we can get one more. Yep, that was kind of it, I think. Oh, you actually got lucky. You got two more. Let's see. My energy creates my reality. What I focus on is what I will manifest. Yep. My energy creates my reality. Remember that. Remember that. Get into your satisfaction mindset, your gratitude mindset. This is abundance. This is Jupiter. Jupiter abundance. I think that's Jupiter. I think so. Sometimes I forget the symbols. And then we also have, instead of praying for an outcome, I pray for the highest good of all. Wow. That's amazing. And we talked about that once too. Go, you know, whatever it is that if you're not sure what it is you're supposed to do, your highest good will lead the way. And don't get driven by ego. Because ego does have an idea of how things are supposed to go. And by the way, I'm preaching to the choir. That's a message for me as much as it is for you today, right? You have no control over things. I have no control over these things. Pray for the highest good, and what's meant to be will be. Don't get hung up, and don't block your blessings. Don't block your blessings. I want to say thank you again. Thank you for being here. It's been a pleasure to spend this time with you, and I was so happy to be able to work with these new decks, and so again, thank you for coming on this journey with me and for allowing me to be part of your journey as well. It's extremely meaningful to me and what I'm doing here too. So really want to tell you how much that is the case. If I didn't say thank you enough already on this video, thank you. And I will see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay grounded. Everything's going to be okay. We're all in this together. And, you know, I'm really excited to see your journey and how this continues to play out.